I'm personally willing to invest and mentor someone that can take one of these 4 ideas and actually put it into practice. Now, if you're watching this video, chances are you want to get started on a SaaS project, but you just don't have the right idea. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you 4 SaaS ideas that I genuinely believe have great potential and can make you in excess of $10,000 every single month. Now, before we get started in this video, I want to quickly address the person behind the screen. By watching this video, you are demonstrating that you have a willingness to improve your circumstances, but perhaps just lack the guidance. This channel is exactly where you will find that guidance in order for you to start your own profitable SaaS projects. So with that being said, let's get started with the 4 ideas. Idea number 1, an app that tracks and collects rent payments for landlords. Now, I myself have seen this problem firsthand. A lot of landlords are not only landlords for one property. Generally speaking, in a lot of cases, they have multiple properties that they manage. And naturally, what tends to happen once you scale these sorts of things, you tend to lose that organization level that you once had at a smaller scale. So what does that mean? I've actually seen and spoken to landlords who keep this information about the properties that they own, whether people have collected rent, all on a spreadsheet. Now, when you hear that, you should automatically be thinking opportunity. So what problem are we actually solving here? Now, for landlords, what they have to do is they have to actually manually check who it is that has paid for this property, who hasn't paid, and essentially chase them up. Now, you may be thinking a lot of these landlords have managers or estate agents that do this for them. That may be the case, but I would argue there are equally, if not more, landlords that don't have property managers managing their properties. And so if you can create an app where before tenants move into the property of the landlord, they have to register through the app that will collect monthly payments without the landlord having to chase them up on a direct debit, and allow customers, i.e. the landlords, to see who is missing their rent payment in order to take the necessary action and who is also up to date with their rent payments. The problem that you're solving is landlords tend to have multiple properties. However, the management in this game, take it from someone that has seen this firsthand, is quite poor. Now, we've mentioned so many times in previous videos, the most valuable thing known to you and me and man is time. And so if you can save the landlord time and a big stash of headache, you've got something there. So if you can create a system that addresses these pain points, you've got a good opportunity. Now, we've mentioned what the problem is. What about the target market? Who can you actually offer this sort of product to? Yes, on the one hand, landlords, people that have multiple properties that don't necessarily have estate agents looking after it for them, nor do they have any managers. That's the first group you want to target. However, another target is estate agents, right? The job of the estate agent, yes, is to connect landlords with tenants and essentially take a cut. However, the work goes beyond that. They also have problems with rent payments. And so if everything can be compressed and dealt with in this very simple system, you're in a good place. The good thing about these sorts of projects is that it's a B2B. Now, what do I mean by that? B2B means business to business, meaning you as the business, you're creating a service for another business. The reason why that's a good thing is because businesses in general have a lot more money than individuals. And so if you created this and you charge £99 or $99 every single month, that might seem like a lot to an individual for whatever app that they use. However, when you're talking business, if you can save a lot of headache and a lot of time, trust me, $99 or £99 is literally a drop in the ocean, and people are willing to pay that amount in order for you to solve the problems that they have. The next app is something that I genuinely wanted to start. However, I didn't, only because there was another opportunity that came for me, and so I couldn't divide my time. This is a speaking app. What I wanted the speaking app to do is essentially stop people from saying So for example, all you have to do is give someone a prompt to talk about something, and that something could be anything. It could be about there you go, I just said You could prompt the user to speak about their experience on their most recent holiday. The idea is that people have to record themselves over the span of 30 seconds to a minute and make sure they don't say and essentially create some sort of gamified aspect to it where people can compete with one another. The problem that you're solving here is people may not be necessarily confident in their abilities to articulate themselves. Now, I myself am someone who would definitely be interested in using an app like this, because I have found myself struggling to get the right word that I'm thinking of, and therefore, as a result, I just use filler words like So, going back to the problem that you're solving, people may need to practice for public speaking. As for people that you should target, you could target individuals who generally just want to improve their speaking. You could target speaking coaches, people that actually teach other people how to communicate effectively. And this happens a lot at work, right? You get a lot of people who go and deliver workshops for corporate environments, i.e. people who are working in consultancy. I remember in my old job, we used to have a lot of workshops whereby people would come in and help us speak effectively, because a lot of that data job required us to communicate our findings in an effective manner. The next idea that I really would love to get my hands in because of my data experience is something called sentiment analysis. For those of you that don't know, sentiment analysis, as the name suggests, is analysis of the sentiment that people have towards your brand, i.e., when people are tweeting about your company or they are speaking to their friends about it on LinkedIn or whatever social platform there is, brands often want to know how people are perceiving their company. That's their brand image. Let's actually look at some examples. Suppose Sony want to know about the sentiment that people have towards their brand. What you can do is you could go on Twitter, you could write hashtag Sony, you could go on Instagram, do the same thing, TikTok, and all these other online platforms, and collate this information, run it through an AI process, and essentially get the AI to spit out the sentiment that people have towards that brand. Are people angry? What are people complaining about? What are people actually happy about? What is it that people want to see changed within the company, right? Now, the problem that you're solving here is that, let's be real, there's just so much data out there. Yes, that data is available, but how do you process that data? You need to know, as a business, what are the pain points of your customers? What are people happy about? And what needs to be changed? Because otherwise, your brand image will suffer. It's not an easy job. And so if we could create a SaaS project that allows people to simply go on the website, write your brand name, get some sentiment analysis and summarize what people are complaining about, and etc., etc., that is a big problem that you are solving. Now, who is your target market in this case? You could actually approach these companies directly and pitch your product to them, showing them the use case and the benefits that they will get if they were to use your product. But it's not just going through directly to the companies. You could also look at consultancies, right? These are companies who have got contracts from the bigger companies to look at their brand image or their PR. Or it may be in data consultancies where brands have actually paid these agencies in order for them to produce a report on the data that they have regarding their brand image. It's true that information is very key. But what's more important than just the information is being able to take that information and derive insights from it. The next idea that I genuinely believe has a lot of potential is an AI therapist. Now, hear me out. Therapy is very expensive, and in a lot of cases, even in the UK where we have the NHS, there is a long waiting line in order for you to actually receive the correct therapy for you. Unfortunately, in today's world, there is a lot of mental health problems, but there is a lack of supply in being able to actually treat them. Now, what does that mean? It means that there's a gap in the market. And to further expand on that, therapists, particularly privately, are able to charge a lot of money because there's simply no other option for you. What the app could do is people can actually be given the necessary exercises that a therapist would usually prescribe in order to solve or rather help someone that's going through a particular difficulty. It's really important to mention with these sorts of things, it's not necessarily to, as I said, replace the therapist. It is something that could help people whilst they potentially wait or can afford a real therapist. Now, let's look at the cost breakdown, right? Therapists could charge anywhere between £60 to £80 per session, and that session may not necessarily even be an hour. And so if someone is paying £60 to £80 every single week for a real therapist, that is about £280 or $280 for my Americans every single month. But if you could provide an app that somewhat mimics, and again, this is really important that I stress it doesn't replace, then you could charge something like $10, $15, $20 a month, right? And so what you've done here is you've cut the cost significantly. You have also tried to take care of the intermediary phase in which a person is waiting to be seen by a therapist. So the problem that you're solving here is that therapy is very expensive. So what your app will do is it will provide an alternative to therapy, which is a lot cheaper than actual therapy. So those are the 4 ideas that I genuinely would pursue myself if I had more time. And again, if someone is willing to take one of these ideas and really push it forward, I'll be happy to mentor them just to make sure they don't go off track, and also invest in their startup. So with that being said, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. I also have a Discord for people that are trying to build their SaaS projects. It doesn't matter what stage you are at. There is a group for every single stage, whether you're at the beginning or you have already built something and you're looking to market. Whatever the case may be, this Discord will be of value to you. I also have a free ebook that essentially summarizes the steps that you need to take to begin your first SaaS project. It's on my website, incognitolabs.com. It will be somewhere on the screen right about now. So make sure you check it out, claim your free ebook, and let's get those SaaS projects started.